okayfm 101.7.
Right, so ladies and gentlemen, our guest is seated. Nana Kwame Bediako, the CEO at the Kwales Group. Now, Kwales Group comprises of 5 companies: the Wonder World Estates, Petronia City Development, New Africa Construction, Belfast City and Property Management, and New Africa Foundation. Nana Kwame Bediako is not merely a real estate magnate. He's also an emblem of change. His journey from outsider to the zenith of influence mirrors the transformative power of resilience, ambition, and the enduring spirit of a nation. Born of a humble beginning, freedom, as affectionately called, his journey is a story of tenacity and ambition, and that surpasses the ordinary. From turning 2 fowls into a thriving poultry farm in his youthful days, underscores the notion that success is not merely measured in riches or academic degrees, but in the depth of experiences that shapes character. As the torchbearer of the next generation, Nana Kwame Bediako embodies a leadership style that resonates with the dynamic, forward-thinking spirit of today's youth. His charisma, magnetic, limitless ambition resonates all through his initiatives, and that invite the youth to him. He has attended a number of youth events. He has been on youth platforms. He has supported our creative arts industry, tourism, and hospitality. Just to mention a few. The University Challenge, which is another allied impact that endeavors his foundation, the New Africa Foundation, for instance, is not just about financial gestures, but also building bridges and connecting people, those with aspirations, to an unprecedented height of possibilities. He stands as a trailblazer in the expansive realm of real estate, navigating its 4 distinct corners: residential, national, industrial, and commercial. And through his visionary endeavors, Nana Kwame Bediako has contributed by creating over 700 homes. Welcome, Nana Kwame Bediako, my brother from another mother that we go way back like 20 something years ago.
okayfm.
Thank you, Abeku. Thank you for having me. Listening to you speak, I think you can even be one of these politicians. So you speak better than some of them.
I wish, but I don't have money, so it's expensive to be a politician in Ghana. So I want to remain a public figure to influence decisions. But casting my mind back, time I share for in 2002, 2003. Now things is that time now feel UK about for, but now we was starting with you. At that time, as a young guy that you have set your world on a pedestal, a path, and a pathway of creating wealth for yourself. Say now who Ghana at that time. I'm over 20 years building industries.
Ghana there, 52,000 muhona made me free abroad by Ghana. No, it was more of a voice that instructed me. Say, call my mubium. Na me ba Ghana no so no me say. Okay, amamatna na amamani other form, just to focus and visualize on what my dream is, what my vision is, and all of that coming together. But me sure so decision I me take is me betra Ghana no. Me I had me pursue my vision no more so than staying in Abrochire was something that I don't regret at all, and I won't forget, because nankofo bebre emra me to anamon say me bagana abe pursue my vision no na bi mu sre me na bi mu free say Abrochire na ye heaven Abrochire na bibia wo ho. But me betra ha from 2001 up to 2023. Me sure said next uncle for na bi no omo redeem my story and omo hu nia metimi aye nti question I will be say me because me person crofo a omo to anamon ho omo to kwan omo tisi Abrochire ni ade no omo timi hu say it is so mobile no beboa near see or musi or mumai. Omubeboa ni omosua ohono so omfa bi mbrafie because me face have become an example
okayfm
to this diasporans omoso wa abonten omufri fie ekwa abonten na ni omosua no omfa bi mbra because in 22 years now we've been able to build a great empire.
Over 2 decades, a day experience no wenya. Ghana Jumaye Eding, as you are aspiring to become a leader of this country, it means you know it all. What are some of the challenges that you went through as an entrepreneur, as a businessman for this 2 decades?
Mr. Santana, but experiencing so is the foundation of wisdom. The experience na menya ukroma no me hu say unye tolerant, unye patient. If you don't apply and activate your wisdom, your knowledge, and your courage, wait me awosika ukroma so be she afri unsam. Wait me anya position bi ukroma a position kase and so be san afri unsa. Because nipa bebre ya na sika no mu depend wo so ana say position no. Omurefi say sika no e won time e betime afri unsa position no so what time e betime afri unsa na emom no nipa no ankasa na omo wo man ni mu no omo na say yesua omo akwan nti misua nipa na kwan e ma me hu say the average Ghanaian no say na dwene tie na e bi nso a the creme de la creme so say no omo hu no ma e bi a government nso say no omo hu no ma nti me hwe no na man no ma cheche kakra obi a ne na dwen obi a wosika dwene different obi nso a wo power dwene different obi a woni adwuma dwene different obi nso wo adwuma nso ne sika ndɔso nso dwene different nti nipa nyina na ise say wetimi hu ni omo pɛ ene ne a wetimi aya be fata omo ene ne a wetimi aya a be bo omo nya comfort bi na eno na misua ya ema mitimi survival ye along my journey because eduru baby a ekroma na edin and eduru baby nso a wodi wani tu nipa nim ne bra omo bre ama wo ansa no hu se ekwa wonam so no eno ana sese wonam so na debi watimi aboa wo mai.
Nana Kwame Bediako, the leader of the New Force movement, ena yene atwetwe nkomo na obi beka se we de eyemoguo ye de mana kwaba afei na nkomo twetwe na nkasa ebekoso na ni suade hunu a opese ode beye omampani ewo oman Ghana. You better the areas of economy and development. You better education. You better healthcare. You better infrastructure. You better corruption and governance. You better security and foreign policy. You better environment and climate change. And sana about agriculture and food security. So just to give you on the hindsight what we are going to discuss.
Mr. Bekwem said the full politics part.
So I have heard you. I've watched you. I've followed you. Even though you are my friend, I call you. We talk. Sometimes we chat. We've not sat down to have a conversation on this political journey. But and today our conversation is going to be different from all the conversations that you've had. Okay, and that's why I'm giving you highlight of the areas that we have for economy and development. You better education, you better healthcare, you better infrastructure, you better corruption and governance, you really security, any foreign policy. So I may ask you a question about Russia and Ukraine. I may ask you a question about Iran and Israel and America, and because we don't live in isolation. Ghana is a member of the United Nations and we are a member of the UN Security Council. So vying for the position of the president, I will ask you questions that we will ask the president. We will talk about climate change and environment. Then we'll delve into agriculture and food security. But my last question on the preamble of this conversation will be your foundation, your beginning. 22 years ago, Oba Ghana started business. A lot of people have asked, Ejuma ben na we ye ansana Oba beshe a real estate business, I say, real estate business no buy no na ye wo bebre e wo ho ye wo Akwaba estate ye wo Manet Court ye wo Manet Regimanuel ye wo estate bebre Tasako no nyina. But it seems that 2 decades now about what benyeska bebre this kind of fifa.
So first of all, na me ye telecommunications and still business and any scrap na make no we share abroach scrap and now share Ghana scrubber different. What you say? What na misua? Senisia, you didn't that na de bebre boom. For me into steel. Into some of my industrialization skills today, no misua no na min D20. Me who said that the ankasano o fabricate here etimiya normal.
Now be fan that the any figure.
There be and that the end wa bridge scraps.
Okay.
Now the cost scrap yard now they are boom.
It's a bruche now scraps.
Yes, I had people even collecting for me as well.
At that young age.
Yes, I've always been a business-minded person. Until nipa be braid means some abu boom. So me kasa me share poultry farmers here. I'm 8-9 years old. Let me so. Until yes, say Ghana 40 million abutre. No mo share say o share Bill Gates money Zuckerberg ne nsanko for my ye bebre wo wiase no. Omu so pa no mo share bibiase. Nti broni na ono hwe sakra no ohun se tumi bi woni mu ohun se nyansa bi woni mu nti ono an pushi na and through the exploration no to say wabeye the customer product for the world obia hunanim obia tinidin obia tenenoma na Beyonce tunum and so ebi o share nyum aseto no we di 8 years old na nipa anhwe na omu nko akira anko se 8 years old na Beyonce share say or pursue the destiny. And Tisana means we are the woman. 8 years, 9 years old, I was already into leadership. I believe Senko Formum Ebedimechi say Medimisika last never topoki and I ask you a more di no more to believe me say Aqua in your becca necessity, no becca necessity. That's what I do.
Who are your parents?
My parents is Kwame Elizabeth J. Kwame residence airport or no mammy or that dying hono. Me papa so a late SK Bediako. Now he's one of the owners of Tata Brewery, a commodity trader, an oil trader. Until I grew up with my mother. My father lived in Accra when I was 11 years old. Then I moved from Kumasi to Accra. And that was the very time I may share school. I see one crying. Mitimi live the Accra life. Accra and Sana Mekwa Bruche for 6 years and came back.
Ukwa Bruche no edin fie saying 15 years. Yes. And then I do Kwabruchi.
Oh, it was just after O levels, and then I decided to go. Say I could continue college. And I mean, penny, Krana, try to take it in mind. So my mom, my sisters, everybody, they were thinking, say I will go for 2 years. Maybe I may college. Kekanema Sambaba. I may call Hono, and I may try. Yeah, college. We I may call university. Time na college na business. I call university no. Na me additional sepa, but na adwuma wo mani so. Na capital aba mani so, na marketing aba mani so. Ti me share na university no make us me train 3 years, 4 years now. Omudi ama me to acquire a bachelor's degree in business studies na. Me share numbers na me say let me concentrate on my business. Ti enu ti dem I concentrated on business and me realize this. By the time I drew me 20s, now my journey it's about creating wealth, business, and that's what I've been doing.
Into one pursue further educational.
I didn't get my degree in the university. I was quite brainy. I could have scored very well, but unlike Zuckerberg, who also left Harvard to pursue his dreams, I did the same. I pursued my dreams. My dreams was not to acquire a degree. My dreams was to add value to society and was to become extremely successful so I can control wealth. I can control money.
Unya sika ni nyina wie na. Aden na one to aso anko school.
Sika yenya ni nyina wie abeku.
But from where you've reached, the zenith that you've reached in life, academic laurels and so then you can say that yes, you've accomplished academically and financially.
I would also advise people that they shouldn't be greedy to want to have everything. You see, God does not give us everything. Obi oha no fe pa or your ba and so nu aduane no. Obi won so a ebia ne ho nya fe bebre ne ho fe kakra, but aduane obenoa amani kunu ne family no. Etimi shape your whole life. Nti Nyankopon de onfa bibia aman. Kakra na wonim so obetimi asom no.
You said your late dad na oka the owners of Tata Breweries. Tata Breweries, one of the indigenous brewery companies. Revolution time, you know. I think, Mecca it was taking over. Now say you diversify, yeah. But that time now you're very young.
Young, yeah.
Okay. Well, who papa's as an entrepreneur?
Oh, I always saw him as a businessman.
As a businessman.
My father was known. My father was very popular in Ghana. Very handsome man, very modest, very successful. You know, my mother,
entrepreneurship, no,
I think say, enya dia o sheda obi betima coach you. Say obeba be ye sikani na kwan say ne pesu enya sika. Eye wiase na ete no, say values, core values will lead you to entrepreneurship. Obi o ha ne values eno bi na okay. Say obeko school na ebia wanya ayet say degree na wakonya adwuma. Obi nso values ne say ono ankasa de ni obepe capital na waye ne business na wa expand it na wakɔ nim enti obi a won values sa values na wo na obe decide say values we na me de kɔ no eno ene be determine who you're becoming. Obi won so a believe pe na wo ne mu say media me ginyame dipa enti nyame adwuma na sese me ye sa adwene no obefa so a e de akɔda ne sofo na ene no say eba entrepreneur ni san ma no ma ye bi na me ye wie no me hu say ekwan foforo da ho e ma me be ye industrialist visionary san no ma we nyina ya mfa wo me nyini no na me sua na me divert
it did that day nyina wo ye Kwale's resident number 1 Osu apartment any de na wo team so person wo ye president
there be beginning no na me nim sa because nkofo bi ka. But omo kanso a na mesuma maka o metrim se na me de me fan akwa president politics do me intiase wo ka jam se assemblyman kra be nim ye but na me nim se emre bi beba it will be a calling. It was a calling. I woke up one day and I decided say metna man na e man na say ya meka ho ana asa se mi besi na ye nyina ye dwane free kroma na bia be refugees there, then I will step in.
Before I will be out, sir, with the new force, now we have seen you in what will be described as positioning yourself as a leader. You know, that you are seeking for power and the mandate from the people. It be a pictures, any videos, how what brand wohono, not just a one casano. Politics ni presidency ni governance and our government ade ana ye ode eye wo fe iti wankasa wo emblem wo wankasa logo wo coat of arms just say what creative wankasa wo state be at the amount. What was going through your mind at that time?
So share some kan sisia utimu say na go through my mind na more than being a president. Obi a ono creating an emblem. The president serves to an emblem. That is royalties. That is organization and an empire. And no man say ena me dwene ho nkrofo mo ye me mentor obi ti say King Solomon, obi ti say Mansa Musa, obi ti say Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrofo say me hwe omo so eno ma omo ye bi no eye me fe na nye se president keka nipa be pese obi di enti me kwakọ ye emblem ni sama no. I believe say I can build or I can help build. Me and my team can help change the world. We can bring value, added value to humanity. But also it's important that the way you dress is sometimes how you are addressed. The way you perceive yourself is sometimes how people perceive your character, and your character becomes your image. Your image is finalized personality. And so these things are very important to me. People call it branding or marketing. I call it legacy.
Okay.
How to initiate it.
Okay, so now any team so be president. Let me give you a little insight of African politics. Any government, any leaders, they were all mentored, not only in Ghana, even across Africa, even in Europe, even in America. George Bush was mentored by his father. George Walker Bush was mentored by George Bush. Condoleezza Rice even mentored George Walker Bush. If you take the Kennedys, they mentored Bill Clinton, Clinton mentored Barack Obama. Oko UK Magdalene Albright, your friend is Margaret Thatcher mentored John Major. Asana John Major Ebabeye Uba Ghana ha. Former President J. Kufuor was mentored by your friend saying this PF party. He was mentored. Buzia mentored him. Even in Ghana, Atta Mills was mentored by Rawlings. John Mama was mentored. Nana Addo Dankwa was mentored. It is to me answer prekupe na umbeye a leader of a country if you have not gone through the mill or the process. You have not served as an assemblyman. You have not served as a member of parliament. You have not served as a DC. You are a businessman. You have not been mentored in politics. How do you become successful if you have not been mentored?
Well, first of all the names that you've mentioned are dignified politicians. And as you described me, I'm a businessman who have woken up to say I'm going to become a leader. Now, listen to this carefully. I said I want to lead the country. I didn't say I want to be a politician. If I wanted to be a politician, then I would have gone through the process that you're talking about. I would have loved to become an assemblyman, maybe from there to an MP, become a minister, and finally become a president through my political ambition. But there is some skills that I've acquired in leadership. And leadership is the same thing that the politician needs. You can be a politician in a position, but your leadership skills is acquired, that you've acquired is more needed for you to fulfill whatever promise that you've given to the people that you want to lead. Now, the difference between me and the average politician that you mentioned is that these people were not actually just mentored, but they were groomed to become a politician. Okay? I have realized that the African politics, with all the grooming and all the mentoring, the results in the past 4 decades, it's probably -0. We can't see the value that we have gained in the past 4 decades. We cannot say that this country still belongs to us. In the past 4 decades, there might have been some good governance, but most bad governance have made us lost the most. So I realized that Ghana, as a country, might not just need someone who is a skillful politician who will come to lead this country with a program that is already a template that everybody have been repeating and using and using. If that is something that would work, by now we would have seen a difference.
Okay. The 1992 Constitution ene emrapon a edibu oman so. Na se uka se nyesa wo pesa wo ye politician, but you want to lead the country. Ye be gina 1992 Constitution ye mrapon a edibu oman na ya hwe wo vision no any sign na the Constitution no can capture your vision anyhow I will be to me lead it. One, since I will unye career politician but we a businessman but you want to lead a country, the governance, the system of governance, a judiciary, legislature, and the executive, structure nature say only the 3 arms of government. The executive president, will govern the country with legislative assembly and as a parliament. Not just say so to become a leader of this country, you need representatives in parliament. Vision when is wadi huno omode beko na se representatives no so omo koye majority there na chese wa for the leader even of the majority and in parliament eboa ma wutumi the government policies ideas through the leader of parliament at the two parliament anim no ma pass na ababa ye adwuma. It is upesa wo your mampani wo man Ghana ha na uni representatives e wo parliament a ebeye den na wani swade hu no watumi dia ye adwuma wa bra constitution ne kire se uhia mrahye bedwafo na age wani swade hu no atum na ya toso aba ansa na abeye mra. Without representatives in parliament, how would this vision come to reality?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say that, having a political ambition through leadership skills is not illegal. And then if you are a businessman and you want to become a president, also the Constitution does not stop you to do so. You can. You're allowed to. Now, talking about the parliament and all of this leadership, this is a template, a program, a stipulated judiciary system, legislation and executive members that exist one way or the other. The only difference is that one man will be elected as a president through campaigning and a political party or an independent candidate. If that person can campaign themselves to become a president, it's likely that a lot of these MPs in the parliament can fall along his vision or can decide to move or cross to that person because of the effort, the knowledge, the energy of this whole political succession plan that has put him in a position. Now, the art of doing that is what we haven't experienced in the past 40-something years. So as for the politics is there, the parliament, the judiciary system, the legislation, and the executive arm that you're talking about is there. The only difference that we haven't experienced is someone coming to either get into this existing duopoly who have been passing the ball to themselves for the past 4 decades. So as a country, we have been used to this type of governance for 4 decades. For me, as a business person and a visionary, I can see a change happening if there is an actual change in the existing 4 decades governance that hasn't benefited us as a nation. And that is exactly the vision that I'm bringing onto the country and into the country. That change, maybe Ghana should also have a taste of a leader who thinks like a CEO for this country, who is a business person for this country. Because no matter what, you need to understand one thing, Mr. Beko. There are 2 types of people when it comes to money. There are the people who spend it, and there are the people who make it. So if Ghana is choosing leaders who know how to make the money, they would think of investment, they would think of development, they would think of job creation, they would think of building balances in the economy. But if they bring leaders who just know how to tap into our funds so they can distribute the funds to workers, to salaries, to judgment debts, to contracts, then when the money finishes, they have to go and borrow some more money to continue the habit. Then please let me finish. Then that leader doesn't know how to make money, but rather they know how to spend the money. And I think that's what we've gone through for 4 years.
Okay.
4 decades, sorry.
Sa duopoly and ya go through for 30 something years.
Okay.
39 years, so it's literally 4 decades.
Yeah. Okay. And no na ya go through sa the ababedu since 1993. The ababedu sabri. Okay. Sesian ubeye mampenia said the mekano 275 members of parliament. Uhia emududu na ansana wani swadi hunu etumi abem. We have 2 major political parties in Ghana. The NDC and the NPP. Omunyina under the 4th Republic obia serve equal terms. NDC a serve first term of the 4th Republic, 1993 to 2001. MPP about 2001 to 2008. 2009 NDC about to 2016. MPP so about 2017 to now. Omunyina oma share no equal. MPP a serve 16 years. NDC is a serve 16 years. So the duopoly multi-party democracy is what we have, like the Republicans and the Democrats. It's an entrenched, multi-party democracy. Now you are coming with a new force as movement, not necessarily a political party. Where do you stand in the face of this growing, duopoly in Ghana? Where do you stand?
But I stand as the new force. I'm the new kid on the block, and with the new force audience, and we're coming with a force. The nation needs to remember that the youth of this country has been rejected and they have been robbed of their livelihood. They haven't had the chance to be a part of decisions. There's 78% of this country is jobless, and the biggest part of this population is 0 to 45 years of the entire population of this country. They are all jobless. So these are the people I stand for.
Me know we are doing we are the new force because NDC and MPP and the two major political parties. Now we are doing CPP the third force. Now so anye PNC and also anye Nkrumah is for no nanke the third force anye into probably the new force no Only Alanche Martin. Munamuye the new force.
Please let me correct you. New force, it's our brand.
Okay.
Our force. I'm coming. Let me correct you. Please,
I get you.
Relax.
Okay.
I will correct you. Okay. I know you want to ask a lot of questions. Don't worry. I'm here for you. Okay. There is Alanche Martin and what he's doing, and I respect that. But the new force is our force.
Okay.
The reason why you mentioned a lot of third forces came and they failed, because they chose the third position. So the first and second always were ahead of them. I am not a third force. I am a new force. I want you to get it right, because it looks like you haven't understood the whole branding, the whole force and the movement properly.
Okay.
And now I just want to break it down for you, since you're talking about the new force. The new force, we have a different way of sending our message to the nation. If you look at us for the past 4.5 months since we have come out, here is our sequential series that have gotten the nation's attention.
Yanka tree kakra.
Me say, so we new force. Charlie, Godfather, Father, I greet you, sir. Sorry, you're the only one we can pause the interview and greet. Thank you. You have done so well with UTV.
Yeah.
You've managed it very well. This is one of my favorite channels in the country. How I'm distributing content to the country. Ewo tree, ewo brofo, ewo bibia muno. What's sa agronym? Inti mun koso na mun di mbrana so sa na mun fa facts enye adwuma na mun tibi mbo aman no. That's it. Back to your question, Abeku.
Mese na me kase yewo NDC ni MPP aye amanyuku kese mienu ewo Ghana ha na aye the new force ene Uralan Kwadwo Chematin ye fa ne se mo ye the new force because the new force not as a political party you mo ye the third force because your parties ni emienu nti mo ye the number
third force. Okay, me number 3. Okay, me the new force. Now the new force, the existing duopoly would have to face the new force, because we're not the third force.
It will be the first and second.
I know the enya adia metna ha kachiro say na me babedi, because life is a marathon.
Okay.
It's not a competition.
Okay.
So I'm not here to compete with anyone.
Okay.
But I'm here to be part of the race of a journey that I walk. And I walk the walk that I talk. So new force, as a samutias say, strategy de buy first of all when it comes to campaigning. And now dear politicians say sequential series and ye de buy. Ya buy na nyabo trainer obeti no ma bebre obebisa questions no, don't worry abeku. Mini papa no na say dia high we dia ma ba wiase. Enti wonso obenya mra ma now wonso wabisa me question. Na me pese me church nkofo say what new forces. So we share a campaign kurana a sequential series. Yeah, the mask the bar first. No be a share. You sign the brony be by say on be a spokesperson for a movement. Na manfo be break say hey politics say wo kroma entimi fa brony ba okwohwe no na ye movement. We are allowed to do so. Na ye pese ye kire Ghana fo so say sa brofo na omoba na ye sumo mo no omo so ye betima employ omo betima ye adwuma ma ye enti movement no sa message no e na ye ka wo hwe a eno be ye topic wo free ho no ye san de wo call ba bi foforo ye de wo fa ha ne ye de wo fa ha ye de wo fa convention nipa say ne ye de wo free Africa by 4 the strongest 2 politicians in Africa, the strongest columnists and activists on this continent, ye di omu nyina ba krom ha, ema ye cancel ye, ema ebe ye sky rocketed waves a wohwe kra na ema me more popularity than ever. What you say? Ye free hono, ye ansen jai mumu, ye de mu kosa, o china beti se we be say oh you see what the po free yaba how say ni say na. Until we are the one controlling the narrative. This is a new modern way of campaigning. And because of this, me person me explaining na nkrofo as ye say. So mu hu say bia a domini di echi a omo ye nkra, enye say bia ye na ye force omo so omo di echi because we have synergies. Until you are connected. Almost time na aba no enkura nso ehun se campaign kura na beba politics mu no say ene ye no say ene de fa so say ene mani panya attention enti me dey me free say new force no emre we ya me tisa platform we so no eti say me use to sa emre we na me dey explain it chenkofo no mo hu say new force no say ya na tie enti mun try the next series mun try the next headline and media for na no mu create so one ya endra see e be be ka hu later ye be ka Ghana we for asem ne e ka ba ko do grass your friend say pause Ghana ye be ka ni na later but we create the very good message for you, right. And you need to make the best use of the message. But instead, a lot of people are attacking the messenger, and the message is flying through with waves and it's influencing people.
Enti yati asese ni nyina enuma na wahwehwe said you can no podcast mu sequential series.
A sequential.
Na se wahwehwe wo Cheddar na wahwehwe enuma nyina.
Enye se yem finish is planning.
Okay, planning.
Planning. Adie ba ko nyankopon amfa ma yen. Eye planning. Wa my life. Ena wo san obese kun. Ubewu we den obewu.
Enti epo asam no a wo kai nyina no.
We nyina me say unya life. Na say unya wo nso a na time pe na wo mfimfin. Say wantimi am plan ya o time no be useless. Enti planning na ye say na ye plan ye ho. Eno ano no. Na konia opese okosi say me twa.
Okay. Right. So Nana Kwame Bediako, the leader of the new force. Enye third force, but the new force.
Thank you.
Na niswadi hu ne say obeye omampani a obedi omai ano obede omano. Nye se opese woye amanyo semuni enti wo amanyoku bia na hwe na niswadi hu no kra obetumi aba bedom. Sanete.
Oh yes, me preference. Say obi free MPP and I say NDC. No person join me. Ono so woni nani so ade kakra, woni nyansa bi, wo akokuduro bi say opeso oboa ne sam emanima. You're welcome.
If 2017 omampani nanado ebedi oman enim, woti oman mu ha, oyi adwuma. Ya ante say wakasa afa amanyosemi governance ho say aban policy we enye ya ante say wakasa say cathedral aban AC emfaso bi ambam na sika ne edoso dodo ya ante say omampani wi mu hyen a oriented nam wi mu waka ho asem wa ante anan kra de omampani ba eye I think one event uni na hia pen oni omampani nanado ahia pen woni suade hu ni de how ne wadwen awo nyina wamfa nto nanimu da enenti na eye the sequential series na wo ye no na omodwen so wo de wo ye leader bi a opese oje Africa emabunu we inspire nti na obi ankahwe kopim se wo ye se obey convention ya say hey akoya se wo ko too far ya mane kwan ache afedie sabe krama bedi ayensi anenye dagati fudum.
okayfm 1
Ghana Constitutional Day ena okwa akoye ne convention wasan frɛ PL Lumumba mo ene mi ya frɛ Peter Obi a omu nyina no ya ena obabeka nti aban na ehu sɛ wo na eya amanyosem ena wo ye no na office o frɛ dom enti afei na my question is say did that day nyina say we na ye planning sequential series you never came out to criticize the current government administration or any policy that we know until you woke up one day and you say the new force.
So your question is Why did I not criticize?
Yes.
Okay. Any great person in this world that is into planning, concentrates on planning, they do not use blames to execute their planning. I'm not here to blame people. I'm not here to point the people's problems. I'm here to find a solution to move on. I'm here to learn from people's mistakes so I don't repeat it when I get to their time. Intermediate me free say or mine muno say a criticization ne say gossiping any normal ebeke can say obinya normal ye obinya say ya and money betimi aka say sa no mpese omoye but many so ade no emfa hobby.
Okay.
Emfa hobby, yes. And I mean him say nipa so yenye perfect.
Okay.
Obi o ha ayadwempa bi na odinam. But obi wura system ni mu no. Na enkrofo no mo system ni mu ankasa no ache no. Nti wantimi an control yo muye na ama enoma bi akọ senesi e kono.
Efibra wo yi wanim say oni kandifo a woda new force anono. Abai ahaw ewo kwan bebre so de di kan nhyiamudie convention no amba so no no twam no yebeti say tax for GR for tata yesi wuntua tax ene ade when mu nyina ensohwe a wo famu because wayi wanim say obeye amanyosem what na say adwen ho say ebia de da wanim no kura so say because u spokesperson ya pamo na fi krom ha o convention a wo koye ya stop you tax for so tata Kwame unhwe so na wonye o business na wonwe ho.
Okay, but that's ya beku say ebia utumefo say kai me lawyer ka asema abeka kire me an say mintua osika na ne amaye ni nyina no min sanse samadwene na min kobachi nkopa mi ba bi ntina so na ebia nka waji mi sika dada say we lawyer say wa na kwan ya ode me faso ni but asema me pese me kan say ewiase no a ye wo no adibia na mo hu bia obetu bia efa dom ho efa nipa ho no unya na easy. So me share the story of Moses Kurana. No was say what the Israelites for free crop akoso akokro foforo no.
Okay.
We share a normal oko through and sana wotimi ayana. The only reason why wotimi ayana ne say enoma bia na ebetwe na ba fom bia no ono so hu ni say e opportunity. Obetimi dia ye bebi foforo. Obetimi afaso dia suanyansa bia na woni before. Enti normal etoto me no. Me hu ni say e normal ese de me ko akire. Na emom me hu ni say eya na mo ho ametu ye nti na ama noma we nyina beba no na banso dia na chese bibi papa ekoso me ye bibia ebia ehye oman no crying but ebia o adikamfo bi nso omo ho no omo nso hu se anhwa na ade we abetu omo afri omo apakan so enti enu nso ka ho enti na mehu se ebia wo friend attack me de me hu ni se lessons and lessons are meant to be learned from.
How sikasem?
Oh, sikasem de we there how ya yire kra ha yesikasem yamba ha yesikasem no nyese bia ubenya na tare ho sa so nte anase bi mbeka ho eno de nyini se eya de a yesuro ni kese kra okay ena obi osuro sika nso sika ne be free ni nchen enti enye sika na asem senka yesika asem a enka minja sika pe se me ba be di eman so eman na oba be di so no unim se yesika na esesa odi beshem unim sa pa nso se no ma waka nyina sisi yi ye betimi dia how enti nyesika asempe me de me free se wo ba wiase na otimi ye bibia ebeboa ewiase ebeboa nature ebeboa edom nipa human beings na se wuwu na ukwa me de wusunsum kra no me believe se wusunsum ho atono ye bo odin so a ye bo odin pa. Okay. So ubanso no ntimi anya hwe nso a the same nti normal sa no na inspire me more.
Waka say una we the new IMF for Ghana. Na say waka say una the new IMF for Ghana. Na just say Ghana sika sam nyina una obesisi. E de na ma nya akukudo ka say woni the new IMF e de ma my Ghana.
Oh, so me hwe sinisi a Ghana for sika sam tia. Me am timi hu say yinim sika kra. Yinim sika pe. Yinim sika hwehwe. And Ghana for leaders ebi omo bekwa akobobosia. No omo de abetua road contract. Omo de betua salaries. Omo de betua no ma bebre. And so yinim returns na every say sika nemu eba. Na de bia no yenam ne e pa cha ofo sika. me so me nyo obi a me free say me pa cho for sika me obi a me krasika na me build into me free say e bia leaders ni bi wo ho a omo baaye no
omo nim sika so hwe
enye me nka sika so hwe omo nim sika no investing omo di tuaka omo mfanya investment ye di tuaka they will be a contract road be sent to no assignment sika no na be a judgment debt now I been so every month salary 600,000 people no maji say sika no na e be adwuma omo ye no ye hu emfaso free so ba
enti den na wo de sika no be ye
o me de be investment investment ne say me hu say 15 regions wo kroma mo fa hwen si ho 15 regions no so na kura the most resources e wo kroma sika e wo kroma e trillions enti eni se yakobi so
then now ka say 16 regions no bibia no region bia o de o Ashanti region, Eastern region, Northern region bia o bibia o ye
so bia o bibia o ya ese sika no circulate wo economy in ka de na afi ne ade ne wo problem obia obehu so wo ye bibi wo sa regions we nyina no bibre aya bontin so ni nti sika no kra yen hu da
enu ti na wo ka say Ghana fo anto ama wa wo be ba beto man Ghana
man kan sa da ma men kan ye nchiro me ka first of all me can say I would create a million millionaires, and if I create a million millionaires and ask them for 10% of the million I've given them, if you times 100,000 by a million, it's 100 billion. Therefore, that value surpasses the GDP of this country, which is 70 billion. It means that the money I've made can actually buy the country. Now, my Kano, it was a figurative speech. What I want to say to the nation is that the Ghana Web, any pause Ghana, omudane message, you know, headline can't say, if Ghana reject me, I will come and buy Ghana. And not just they're making me look arrogant. Now me share muno. Now me share and I'm say UTV and publish here the way. TV3 anye, EIB anye, My Joy anye. Nkofo mu ye tupe pause Ghana ne Ghana Web. Me ko hwehwe mu no na mu say asa abrofo na adi we ye omo dia. Enti omo tete baabi. Ana omo control yen. Ana chese obeka kire Ghana ni na oye adwuma ne say write this headline. Na Ghana ni na tro. Na ono ade say ni nipa. Enti me come no na me say no, I won't let them get away because we share the average Ghanaian obesro media no because the media no power.
Are you saying say the owners of Pulse Ghana and Ghana Web and a catcher or reporters and editors say omonchro say Nana Kwame Bediako say obeto Ghana?
Okay.
So who was school? Na say school no akura ba ku wom. Na so kokun obi a obeka say enye school na ye na akura na nkasa na akoye. They will go to the school. They will hold the school responsible because someone has putting measures in place for these things not to happen. And it is a Ghana Web and what the headline be about outer. Say from the director to then it is so move. The point I'm making is that brofo abroni and a Ghana Web na say this is our national news platform domain. Say Google anything about Ghana. Ehon na obekwa akosha asie free na ebekwa akohwe no obi akokora bi a wote Holland wodi almost 70 and now no server ni sini ho and now controlling the narrative na mo say me se me pese me to Ghana me pese me kire Ghana for say there be enya sa na metie na emom no Ghana na nkasa o mo ka no ya ton because obekwa akohwe no gold no eye bronidia concession oil and gas eye bronidia
nti abrofo ato
me ba ukoshe bauxite ukoshe lithium Chinese water ukoshe cocoa yetie cocoa nyina yemfa nya hwe na abrofo no na abefa ni nyina enti point me say ya ban kra no aya abrofo dia because no mo beka na yetie na it's a time na so ye be sisa no ma way
what you say Matthias
because abrofo no ma na ya do so dodo.
Okay, Asasi Radio actually say Cheddar owes 7 million Ghana cedis in unpaid taxes. Document from JRA reviewed. And also no Asasi Radio no aban na hye na chi say onchro sa asem mfa ho ana.
Asasi Radio no me pese me bisa wasem. How long has it been a station? Because me share ABA despite group metima catch us say omo shase ABA 2002 me share 1999 me share ebia my joy metima ka so mo share say 1995 what I say metima ka cho say mo 22 years in the business 23 years in the business me pa cho una wo industry we mu Mr. Santana catch ye Asase Radio how long has it been and now for me Asase Radio
cover say 5 years
5 years 5 years on and metima ka say ebia current government regime ya no mobile say 5 years.
Yes.
Oh, you bet me aka bibisa. Na asama mpese me bisa won say. Asase Radio. Ono na ye tax collector na asa lawyer okrom ha na. Because me ready ade omo twerɛ paper mu no. Omo anka say ye tax GR no na e ka say yo.
Omo say
documents why investigation.
I say documents from GR reviewed.
Enti chese GR na anka sa ank didn't come to me o chese ono Asase Radio no na wose wako review documents no na wanya proof nti obabe wode babe tudwa na adia mi ankasa minti free GR4 ano me wokroma 20 something years ametua me taxes omo amba me hoda me ka se me ba be si president na omo se me ba be gina for president omo se 2013 to 2015 when tua taxes bi nti ye hwe penalties ni nyina e ba 7 million me dey asema me work an se ebia Asase Radio or a tax inspector o ma yehu ni ehu se ebia na djuma no nya radio no oye eno de ebete na se but say onya tax expert nso na oye radio nso na opese bia is propaganda nso a oka ye bete na se
so ono de as a media firm they have cited a document or who document and based on the document now we who no and odi asem no etudwa
Debbie, let me correct you. When you cite something it's already e dey atudwa dada edaho and wako hu what you say but we dey osi wono na investigate here and or dey brain with the proof enti na me bisa o say na djuma nkasa ye den is he an investigator for taxes and I say because ye hwen so a wo hwe kra na anche bia no ye hu say tax commissioner no so e bia ono so ne retirement time aso from 60 years still another so ye djuma no what you say enti ono kra na oba beje tax no no crano ebia mistake be on who crana Ghana phone.
Now you are talking like a politician.
I'm not talking like a politician.
Like a leader.
No, I'm not talking like a politician. I'm giving you facts.
What does the retirement age of the former GRA commissioner got to do with this tabloid of Cheddar 17 million?
And yet taxes are seminar okay.
Taxes, but it's in retirement and
tax for them community mufia sem first. And son of Mabidi abontin so for them first.
Okay, you have a point.
Nka omundi omufie so asem first because sa omutimi correct sa no mani nyina na say omu now accuse we the citizens then they are right. But say if they are accusing the citizens and then they too need to be accused two wrongs don't make right.
Okay. Afe yambra eye Kumase epono and also one issue abeje amanfo asubura ewo omaimu epono ebeda he yenhwe Kumase Ashanti. Is it Ashanti region or Kumase?
Oh, Kumase.
Okay.
So Kumase is part of
please
Ashanti.
Monfa map no ento producer monfa map no ento ye de map no beto Facebook online na yenhwe. So time wa wo kase ubeye omampania ubeye epo ube extend C akokumase no na chese unansi bibi so why feasibility studies and na say unim form unim baby epo ne beda you know how e dey na ba utrimu a ma wunya sa akukuduro no knowing baby epo da wa akra and na ohwe Kumase eye landlock eye hinterland na wo betwe epo no ede akọ no enye se yesi wuntumi enye ana se ubeye pani a wuntumi enye eden na wugina so ebe masade we aye reality ebetumi abem.
Well, first of all, thanks to the sequential series of the New Force because it's one of our series and they are about out amamo. Say they epo Kumase. Na abeku tie mi ana but say binya attention.
Mutie papa.
Na wo hwe hu a asanteman mu ensuo ya asem bia eda ye boso pa. Na ye kra no wo hwe ye history a slave na ye lucy omu nyina no nsuo no de omo fa so koye enso ye hwe asanteman mu no na nsuo bi eni ho connected to wiase ya baby omo fa so de enkrofo koye ye tumfo ye hene ose tutu ye kacha nsem won cross river bi no de omo cross ye twa ne ti enti ye de nsuo de nsuo ho asem. That's why we chose asanteman mu Kumase to release that topic, because ni enim say a very strong headline obia be debate about it. But let me tell you how possible it is and how important it is that in the past 100 years, which leader can you go back into history and research that you would tell me say he came to talk about water, except for Kwame Nkrumah, who came to build one of the first biggest man-made lakes in the world. Now no Odikoya kosi Ashanti border. Oduro wan fan rem. Sa time no border na ojesi ho no. Na eho ti say eho na ye bunu region. But ne bo Ashanti man mu. Oduro no stop yo. Anko Ashanti man mu. Na mi wu say Ashanti man me hwe map ne so a. River Pra ni. River Pra hwe di akire. River Pra no ekwa kosi Cape Coast. Epunim. Inti ya na ye ndreje ye. And I am be a quine so number firm because you need purpose for the nsuo. Now, Mimi who say if I'm an industrialist and my vision is to create a 16 regional industrial revolution, then I should be thinking for the logistics.
Can you
me say me obia me pese me be ye odikan foa me see 16 industrial revolution say me activate all the regions that ebeba be part of the economy of this country. And you're not just a logistics infrastructure plays a big role in it, because it doesn't matter say how many or how much products that you produce. Say uni kwanya wo betwa faswa ebe ya asem, uni railways uni nso ebe ya asem. Enti wo hwa say River Pra no say mimi bietuma na asem kra meka man ka say me dipo ebe free Accra na akokuma say ebia ne kasa kwanya meka say 100 million millionaires can do this, or meko ka say if Ghana reject me I will do this.
Okay, Pacho ya de ato Facebook say o hwe map no Obehu say the boundary of Kumase brim and pra brim pra insu a efa Kumase no brim efa Kumase Ashanti region o kakra eastern region and a pra enso called central region and a tano nso ewo Sunyani area na ni nyina yinsu a free black voter yewo Oti River yewo white voter na said yewo kai no o say enema mienu it's important and a possible important me no ya adwen say Asanteman ese omunya ensutade kese a yebetumi ede cargo vessels afaso, because Kumase is the second biggest city in Ghana.
Apart from it being the second biggest, it's also the only region that is in the center of the country.
Okay,
it's connected to eastern corridor and western corridor.
The importance, we cannot question that. It's important. So bibisa because ewo Kumase eno de me no we adwen 100%.
It is say you know what you say epobeti ma ba Kumase. Through dredging
important one. No, possibility na maybe so there be answer was in twofold. It's important and it is possible. And I make us important me no ya adwen. Afa yembra the possibility.
Okay.
How are you going to do it?
The possibility is dredging. Dredging is actually taking the debris.
So tinsu ni mu yanka ni twi no mo tiase.
Ube connecting so no ama other water bodies. Connecting so no ma other water bodies now. There is a mechanism that you put in the water that helps the water to distribute. Adia adibako ankofu bebre yusu canal one is part of the country's irrigation system and on the boa agriculture. Me pacho
the possibility na make no funding. And yet the mechanism I know we have engineers and Nkrumah AC the voter down and Nkrumah no oko Kaiser for and oko Jessica aluminium smelting company Kaiser omo no mo be see and what we call Vaco tema yewo Kaiser flat. So when Nkrumah even had the vision of creating the first man-made Lake, which is the largest lake in the world. As Nansiana China ABAB. Nkrumah ne di kan 1959 1960. Onye miswadi hunu. Se Kaiser for andom amma ni sika enka wontumi nye. Agreement and Nkrumah ne Kaiser for ekoye ne se obemo mo eye bauxite from Awaso a omode ye eye aluminium ewo vaco. Na energy na omobe generate from the dam no eye hydro plant no. Almost the 40% at the ama vaco. Now 60%. Now that time our population was 5 million. Na ye use na the bekano ya supply. So Nkrumah put down a plan, a strategic business development plan that convinced the Americans. And no man is sikama or the dam. Who the
dam
the lake and BBA kaho. Say the dam was encapsulated in the lake.
But it's a separate project.
Yes, it in in account unye sika and now what ye. What the year wo pesa wo ye wo kumasi. Where are you going to get the funding from?
Question now be sabeno. What's the answer?
Mesu benya we maintain baby I watch the source of the funding. But Matisa also be dreading soon. And no they say the mechanism we have engineers able to be adwuma. But sika no benya we.
I am coming. I want to say you've asked a question. I'm answering you.
Okay.
Now asema wo bi sabeno. Enwa na wasa answer no. Wo ka kire me say Nkrumah nya sa eniswade we no. Na woni sika no. But o plane ye. Say ni na meye. Na meye say na menya sika na. Anase me ni America for ni boma na mama ye. You see, sa intelligence way na ye Lucy as Ghanaians. Say no ya adwene say bibie ni wa ebetimi aye. Aje say obi akukuru sika na maye. Say yemfanye ansa na yetimi aye. Nkrumah nso wa anko keke say obi nkukuru sika ne ma no. Okoye no ne omu negotiate say wo pesade we. Me so me pesade we. Na wo pesade we dia mema wo say. Na wo so be ye say ama me. E na onya ne ope. E ma aman ni mu. Ba wo hwe ne kura na edie ben ne ye di voter lake no aye. E da ho 20s of billions egunsuo nim. Ye nyusi. Ye connected ye. Ye net transportation was so.
Yeah, transportation was so.
Well, how is that giving us economic support?
Okay, so Gassem, for instance.
Gassem. Do you know the owners of Gassem?
It's Dutch and Ghanaian.
No, correct yourself.
Okay.
Who are the owners of Gassem? Or say Ghana Cemento. But I'm asking you, who are the owners? Ashanti Goldfields. Nema bisa o say na Ashanti Goldfields.
Eshasia we Ghana for. J.A. Addison. Ghanaian.
You're still not answering the question. But Gassem, men joining free hot. The young so we say Gassem no. Why there? Gassem na nam o river ne so a wo ka say your transportation was no. Me person who say both the Gassem and whatever transport nam so no so no. Ye benefit from it.
Enya Gassem kwa. Who ka say transportation bi anko so na me say voter lake in transportation koso.
Look, I have a different vision for voter lake. First of all,
the transportation ekoso uko empakadan se si ameno ka say ya. Eho ena cement ni iron rods dodo a ekobupe. Eho nefa enunti na railway line na omaye from Tema ekwakosi impakadan na omato aso ako enti se okase transportation bi ankoso a it's not totally
me see we're not using it for national transportation.
That you are correct.
No, they were not. And you are trying to argue, say, oh, because so, and I may try, say, me so. No, and yes, sir, I want to educate you that idea koso hono is not to our benefits because that's meant to chrono a yagasem. Nazikani ne kobroni bi krum. That dear chrono ABI Indian Ibidia. No, the only reason or this transportation link not to one is for their benefit. It's not to our benefit.
Eti trainer abai eye fitema ediako eye empakada akosombo baby a dam ne wono eye to abrofo ne benefit.
But don't you think say a bibia eye okrom hanyina is to abrofo's benefit because that is what they ask us to invest in. That is what they borrow us money and tell us that use the money to do railways and do here. Use the money to do this road. Use the money to do this. if it was to our benefits, enka yekro no ke sika nasa.
And it say ya ban no nyina o mon dwen.
Oh, what the person aka ne sa, we betimi aka ne sa, but me pese me kan say me pese me kan say.
Bibia ni wa ya ban nyina to our benefit.
You have to think about.
Not just a bibia ban ye bia to the benefit of abrofo.
Of course. And then na me pese me catch that one say ye media abrofo control.
Really?
Me ba ube call Ashanti goldfields abrofo no matter wa afa bibi ho. And no try a gold or honor. No, my fire and grow for a year, Jumano.
And yeah, 2 year gold, no, so yeah, then Galamsey.
I don't know what we took go to Galamsey on Sa. And
I yes say, assassin.
Oh, man, Sa Galamsey in Shagana for pay. Ushe and grow for a free a crew for Frosso.
Tabofuna say, my
Batman patch on me bound. I buy your crew is wa or more year Galamsey, China for any idea. Then ya buy an ammo quite. Because if he wants to stop them, he can stop them. Say it to me, tractors and excavators, caterpillars, Ghana for doing Galamsey. Dia. Na me one part say China for bibri. Say in so number. No credit as I say, udi no cre. So upe obi obedi o mind swa. Yes, say ubia. They have a fair heart.
Okay.
And they want to deal with the truth. Media me free say. And normal be ye will krum ha.
Okay.
Doesn't benefit the nation, but outsiders. Where you are there, as I say, you can't want them.
Okay. I find ye ba ye wamemu. Dia ye kai nyina ye mogu. Dia kai nyina.
Anya mogu. Me pese me
ye didi nkomo. I find ye ba economy development. I find ye ba education. Me be busa question.
Me pese me can be about enso ne ka ho. Ghana for se nyame ye madom na me ba power ensuo ya ade ba ko bia me pese me connect ma krom ha na wo connect nsuo a me pese wo hu se ensuo no wutimi use for irrigation for agriculture ebe improve your agriculture ebe improve your tourism ebe improve your infrastructure. Now aside everything no besides the water say you right to say you left to a hobbit me a new development.
Okay.
And in Sasefo from nyina ebeba omaimu ebema development no akonanim akosoro ade ameka no me pese man hu se enye bone na meka enye enumdwa na emom no eye eni so botayade bia
eni so ade hunu
me pese yes man hu se si ya etimi pe adwuni bi na ya etimi pe ya capital kakra bi ne ye de shaase na se generate ye income e de sika ba system nim ne economy nim a o dikafo so kro obeba odi machi no ono so ba obeba betoa so.
All right, so say yembra governmental policies wani so ade hunu no waka systems ne structures ne wo yen hwede obey education ede en such aye na de beba enwumasua mu
me hwe enwumasua mu Ghana ha me am so no na me 21 subjects and I know so me call we hwa obetime asua sa akosi so obedi 21 years the 21 years of your life no obe choose anoma we nyina guru trim history, geography, maths, English uchuchu ni nyina guru trim no wa choro na wa pass ni aboy ensema ma but ye wie pa ni eja omu a uni adwuma uni bibia geography no nim ni ade koye history no nim ni ade koye Christopher Columbus a omo church school ni history nyina no enya no na be too good enya no na be crowd koko enya no na be educate you around your surrounding. Enti me free say our main academic curriculum no through leadership we have to adjust it and let it suit our culture. It's a self factor yeah it's in the see yetena ayade ba ko a woman ni super say enya education pe enoma bebre constitution ni kra no
ye beba ho
enu nyina no
but maybe specific to education
me yes
reform be na
do
ba
education no into hwe sa no ma we nyina na ma hu say these are issues. Now here's my solution. Say we have to find a way nkrofo okosku a o ma dwene nya o mo say school no mo kono ne ma ne papa etua school fees so owia na akonya adwuma.
So what reform are you bringing?
I am telling you. I think you're very impatient about
no, I have a lot of questions into
me. I prepare home. Yeah, want me say piano off the record. Don't worry, I'll answer you too.
Okay.
But me pesa me trese. So wo hwe ade a yesua na say it's about jobs.
Okay.
Na say adwuma ni ho dia. Enya na education no e bia ye kono kwa. First of all, I want to create entrepreneurs through education. As I say, from the beginning, how to turn our cocoa seed into chocolate, into powder.
Where would that start from? Is it from the basic primary, junior high school, senior high school, or at the tertiary level?
Oh, I think more so between the senior and tertiary.
Okay.
What I say, because Obi tertiary, you've pushed him into the real world.
So a subject like entrepreneurship should be introduced into our curriculum.
I probably wouldn't say entrepreneurship, but a subject that you're also studying about the other parts of the world. Change that subject to study about your world.
You've answered my question on education. Entrepreneurship will be your major educational reform. It is not just
entrepreneurship, but also leadership.
Okay.
Also empowerment.
Next.
So we need to, you need to teach these three things in our educational curriculum.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship.
Yembra healthcare. Our healthcare delivery system said this is here in the rural areas. We have chip compounds. Then in peri-urban centers, we have clinics, then we have polyclinics, then we have hospitals, then we have tertiary, referral, hospitals, or what we call teaching hospitals. Sana healthcare system no etie from inkurase inkunkituemu ediba kesiemu. Now so the healthcare delivery system no akwa say eye den kakra obi tumi yare ode ne beko eye bi a Ridge Hospital yesi empani ho akonya ni ho ade na mo amfa na nkomo community utumi kokolebu yesi there bi nkese say ye refer from a polyclinic and sanwaba untumi sorry emba because high teaching hospital oko inkrasi a traditional birth attendants and the kwaji awo won krofo fie enomo ne ade our health is our wealth inti eden ne wani suade hunu ohwe yapomudin sede etia the healthcare system no dean and such now the beba.
Before first of all, no, as I see, consider industrialization and not a guarantee long-term employment. Problem ni healthcare system krumano. And they say we share inkrasia ukanya hospitals ni honi ade ankofo kofie kwaje awoi. Say krase na no say produce sika bia na say factories bia ni ho na say adwuma bia ni ho dia na life ni ho. Nti ukosi hospital kra ho na hospital no be kwa eze say ese so hu nipa mobo keke. Onkofo yara na edomuko omuni sika no nti ese so osa nipa yare se government wo sika obetimi aye sade a ene onkosi hospitals no honom na onkofo yare a onhwe omo for free but se we need you have to create an integration system. That integration system no na me preach about industrialization. Uko bebia we wiase so wo hwe bebia hospitals here. Ubon's a bank is not far from there. Ubon's a factories is not far from there. Ubon's a school is not far from there. Ubon's a normal bebre is not far from there. It's integration. Na sa integration no the main part adia omo poten omo ye osa area ho a emani pa adwuma obi ho a obetimi atena area ho no obeye adwuma for the next 20 years. Adwuma no it's a long-term employment relationship one adwuma kro no wo enti obetimi depend on no na odi ahyehye ne life. What you say $20,000 na ubenya in a year obetimi di bia life insurance then health na kakra so ode beko hospital bi wo ho kakra ode betua ne ma fees bi wo ho but ye wo 15 regions e wo krom ha say
okay
na say ye ni any industrial empowerment wo ho e wo beka say bi a factory wo beko akọ hwe na ye no so broni bi dia na office broni no so factory e wo afijase a na wo de sika na free factory no ba be si hospital amagana debi or twe enti me
the industrialization revolution.
It would help to be able to build more hospitals because it will circulate the revenue and create avenues for revenue.
Okay.
Normal way
corruption and governance. How would you tackle corruption and governance? Saying our memu be ubefa ministers is saying governance ebeye.
Okay, and no money be hoa. Say me kase metrana makajo say I will take 15 ministers and I said 20 ministers. I'm not being smart and intelligent. The plan to get there is more important, and I'll give you an example. When Moses was taking 600,000 people with him, no one say okwako share nsuo. But one kase a plan ben na medibe fa nsuo nim ansa na oduru ho. Oduru ho na they became so stressed and aggressive to find a solution. No. solution ni bae nti me nim say currently no adia Ghana NCB da ewa ha ebinsi da eye say obi aba watimi interrupt it and I said disrupt and I said dissolve the existing duopoly to enter the system to change things. What I say now it's some reni drua meaning that say corruption can only happen if you don't have value. Now I will explain that to you, Mr. Santana. So ukwa abrochira enkrofoni bi wa yetu omo $30,000 together in a year. Sa eno ena ne mortgage wom. Eno ena ne car rent and I say high purchase wom. Eno na ne mba fees wom. Eno na ne bibia wom. Na sa akwa we a wonya ebia 30,000. So obi ko gina nanim na o ka se o ma ne bribe for £500 and I say £5,000. I bet me say 30,000 na ne dan auto and ne car ne ma o show mu woma. Onye nti the value no amano. The value is the line that it stops you from corruption, because when you have value for yourself, Grana, you don't want to be corrupt. Akweti say ukokachre sofo se wonko wiade. On the value no say this is what I preach, this is what I do. I can't do.
There are institutions as I say estimate the tide of corruption, like the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the Economic Organized Crime Organization, YOCO, the National Investigation Bureau, the CID, and so on and so forth, whether public or private. These institutions are there. Do you think, sir, is it duplication of function? Now, yen centralizing in and now you think, sir, it's enough?
I don't think so. I think the problem is supervision and monitoring. When you're putting money into people, utuyanko foka, it's so share. U supervise yomo. Ukofa watchman. So ambeda ufia is to protect your gate and your house and your family in the house. So 1 week wamba na se wun supervise na wunhua. That means say sikano went ya enke eye because wajato ho but waju sika. Enti me fi say mine mu no supervision ni ha, monitoring ni ha, reports ni ha. Enti ama accountability no is nobody is responsible for it. Nanka nya asema enko bi betimi anya asema o Ghana ha akọ report ya ma police. Na oni pakro na wanya asem no onu mom na police for twe no agi bibia free no na ne waya asem na nkasa no police for protect no. Say your man will say kasi supervise sankrofo we nyina na we put them in check and put them in place. Sa normal besesa.
Security and foreign policy. Ghana a member of the United Nations. Osayesoka UN Security Council. United Nations organizations be Ghana eka ho. Enti eba Ghana ni jina bre ewo UN a edimu yie pa. O share the current war ekoso between Ukraine and Russia. So wo be ye o mampania. This foreign policy, Russia invading Ukraine, say Ukraine omo mine and san omo independence and intino omo take over omo land omo job omo kwan omo form ho kobo NATO. Ukraine say ye independent ye je ye ho ye ti ye ho ye ma wo kwan say we government and our government power or representative as I say ye to aba UN otoma oman Ghana ni vote no ebe kwama Ukraine so munyomo independent sovereignty and now say Russia for enkoje omasase a omode ma Ukraine for na dey nanka o policy ni be
me free say it is a headlines ya ankrofo akwa na me chechro move between Ghana Web and Pulse Ghana omo headlines no but wo hwehwe mu a eye den ade nanka se siye ho na se ye dwene ko na Ukraine asem and Russia so asem. But who can UN? UN is peacekeepers. Omo an omo sorti war ni ade. And so show ma Africa ha no mo. Omo nko Ukraine. Gaza na ohoy. Omo nko bi. Israel na ohoy. Omo nko bi. Munko ho na munko patanto kanu. Se mo ye peacekeepers. Munya mo adwuma. What in am chairman say me pese bi hu black and white troops. E wo ho no ma omo ye adwuma no. Na nye se mo ba be bisa me di me man so e wo mi krom. Se me be decide for Russia and Ukraine. Omo kuku omo ho. na me na me ka trom so omunku omo na afi na mababe ma answer no it's a Ghana 40 mi dwuni ko akire no omu se no ma bi wo ha headlines yedi adwuni di agro
nti emfa ho
enye se mfa me ho nipa na omu wu no ha me na ma kire se nkofo mbetimi asort na nkasa no omu bebre ne ho na de omu de omu ni ho
ba we a member of UN
me a member of UN say me person me ka kire say me a Ghanaian
no
UN na di aduane ma me di
Ghana is a member of the United Nations.
Fine. Or they can be a member of the United Nations, but now let's deal with the citizens. And they are dinka can they are tereso. Say Ghana, we a member, only was signing way anyway. But no kremu asemene se. Ene usha Ghana for your economy a crash near the idea. UN for akukuru ke bia bra say mo ho kire munti munje. ECOWAS for krana yes you omo ye the pillar of economy of West Africa. Omo no gina ho the whole West Africa economy nyina no broni na egu no and ono so broni no still a wonya wo minerals wonya wo nipa no ko and wonya wo gold ko wonya wo oil ko obetra ho no wa ye o sa atena ho but no kura no asem na na ye ka ho
obedwen wo ho ana obetwe wo ho
afi me mindfo ho na omukora no se duru baby na se bi omuka se
into UN representative no ho na eba se ye vote obeka se me president se me mind de ye mfa ye ho
se me nko kantre UN se ye mind de mfa ye ho na no ani se me di me fi asem enu na hia me nkrofo kom de omu ni adwuma omu ni se na makoko tena baby se me ba be vote for mo omukun wo omukuku omu na se ye mistake no ma ye no omu di kuku omu no yenso ye tena se na se ye sa mistake ni bia wo no bi ba si ha ye nyina ye bedwane afri Ghana
okay yembra climate change said we kind me busa a question
sir what's the dance for how I don't know say here pa kasa it's the first time I'm coming here and it's the first time I'm sitting with you. I think you're very clued up about this world. But I want to see today what are your main important as you are okase uyobia you influence nations because a good say ye behwe ewiase nyman mu nyina asem na mom ne hia ne se ye betua no ma bia firi gom ho a ye hu ne se a mistake na they are correct ye hu.
Now you said a lot of things that our country is in the hands of foreigners.
Yes.
Everything. So when I ask you this question, it leads to some of the answers that you've given me. And probably there are follow-up questions because of some of the responses that you've given me.
Sure.
Eti ye hono ene o ka we no nyina no na ehefa ena ye situate asem no pote because yentumi enkase ye ma hoho ma mu me ye adwuma.
Man kasa anso.
Manonsi because as a member of the United Nations, we have ratified a lot of agreements. Ya sign to so uba na so uba betwemu a ebe de ene kofo sorry anomo de omonema eba ha because Ghana joining the United Nations Trade Organization. It will be able to meet the niema ba no na niema free amana ne nyina eba ha enkofo ba eba ba ye adwuma we eye apam we pama ye president no assign it wons o mampani bia ba ha ye se o ma be sign bilateral agreement eye baako eye document e bi ko parliament e ma parliament e adopt agitum bebre akoso it is a mibusa sa questions where eye eniema aye mra aban atwamu nyina abeye ahyehya to ti mibusa de wo ba wo be differently so wo betwamu so wo be sesano se den na be that is the question. Which one?
Yes, will be some question. Now, I'm specific. Let me answer your question for you because so we are specific on something. But be me free say asama who can you who see a brofo or my back room ha. Many ya buying a best in signing norma. Daho. A bino just say and no so necessary moody. Person me bisa say. Ye so ye leaders no. Ye timi for plane. Eko America ni Europe. Ni ako instruct you say musumun sign sa normal way. Na mun diso. Ansa ya mamu oil anase ya mamu gold. Ye ntimi nya bi. Enti say ye begia tum say. Ese se broni ba ye krom. Ansa na oni abe sign agreement bi ana ya gia tum ansa na ya kra ya mind dia. Na ye mistake because adia wuntimi nya no. Memma obi emfanya wo anase ade edidiwa enya wo de no memma yemfa ndi wo nkrofo na anyebia no ye ni sa power na we have to find a way to resist in doing it because ebia ye ko sign paper bia Yedi ya buy na yakọ sign you. But ubekwa kohwe no na nipa 33 million ena omo bre ewom. Na nipa ba ko penso ena obeda down e ma wo sign ye. Na adenti na sabrofo ya omo hye white suit, omo hye blue suit ne white shirt ne red tie omo ba ye kromi. Adenti ena ye ma omo ba ye adwuma wa ha. Adenti ena adekura o pese o ka kire se nyansa wom no enti yen sign no. Ade no no ankasa embe ye adwuma no wa ha ma ye hu se adwuma na wo so kwakoye wa ha na se emra na wo de yesi no. Ade na wonye o mikrom na mahu se eso mfaso ni. Na emom no utwanya na aban bi ba na wa bedada no ne na sign. Na wo hwekura emremu, the constitution of democracy worldwide that has to be constipated or embedded on nations should have a neutral conditions for humanity, because that is law. That is a judiciary system and a legislation. If by human rights we have to have equal shares, it's called equity, your benefits and equality. But you need sa ewo Ghana ha, you need sa ewo Nigeria, you need sa ewo man bebremu. Enti wubekwa kohwemu no nkrofo bebre assign no mabia a government with another government. Now upa kohwe law ni constitution. It's a government and another government are supposed to sign business. Say me babe too good. And I say me babe ye way. So no bebre wo ha ya sign ya ebia ye ba anase nipa wo power. It is so shame. And we be na make us say monitoring and supervision. It's our biggest problem. We have the institution capital, but we don't have leaders, the right leaders who are supervising it, who are monitoring it, giving us report so there can be a good accountability. It's state revenue and state capital and state resources. It belongs to the citizen. Enye abain dia, eye omaino dia. Say you will go da, eye omain dia. Enye abain dia, enye party dia, eye omain dia.
I've heard you, but my question is Ofa ye minerals na ya sign emra ya sign and ya say sabio abrofo no ye ti ono mu na o ma beji ye gold wo boase e no mafa o befa ye mineral concession e wo o mo be negotiate ye e na ye ton ye e no mo to ye e no mo tuaka ye oil ye discover oil no crampo no enye ye mpo ni discover obi na be kire ye say you have the oil in large quantities ewa ye tu
we pay them
ye tu
we pay them to come and do the seismic for us and ye hu oil no and a yankasa nyansa ye nyusunti ye ka kire sa nkrofo na omo ba hu oil no ma ye tu omo ka say na mutu a mo pesen almost ever find 19 about 10 and they say I inti se no maybe wo hode I say utimu se wo no de wutiri I ti say obi say mame kokun papa ne mame na wo na ukra safo ado na wo di na man
yemfa oil nye faton unua ewo eye oil business ni mo inti ono nso enim de ekoso sa 90% ya oil exploration companies say efa na omre 10% na ma yemfa agreement we enyem faton se wo be ye mampania wo be ye den ewo.
I would not chase the agreement in the first place. Idea me concentrate on say sa oil chrono bebre wo ho ye friend no attributable reserves. We have proven reserves and attributable reserves. So wo hwe wo kro no so ya wo be hu say proven reserves no ene na nkrofo ehu a omutu na wo hwe attributable reserves na egu ho na emana per capital so omo be invest to buy the plants a be explore no to send ya waton na or dey 10% no enti wo hwa akwadworo wo ye mu kakra ena ye pay aid boa omo be boa ye koje bosia ye ko ye say ye ni sa tibia na kire say ye ko invest ye ko develop ye create jobs ya ye say sa de ni ho eno ne ade a me pese me de hye emaburu na omo banum.
My final question.
No, Matthias, yeah.
My final question. Do we have the capacity as people, as a country, of certain jobs that foreigners are doing it here in Ghana? Do we have the capacity? Do we have the competences? Can we compete, in terms of skills and capacity? Do we have it?
Nobody in this world was born with skills. Nobody in this world was born great. The greatest people grew great. Omunyini no and ombeye great. What you say? Mamemfa obi Ebi ame use despite. One of my favorite entrepreneurs, Omuwo Kurumha. Despite. The Despite group, who share the history. What shall see from selling cassettes? Ojina kwa no share no cassette no say more radio so on timin ton. Inti ono no all ton cassette nyina na ne target your radio no. O ye na ode na dwene to wa ekoto radio no. Onya radio no so no. O say enya cassette pe na ma unya sika free radio mu na advert ne normal any interview nyina ma o power. Enti advert no onya sika free mu no ono so o hwe normal enkrofo ba be advert no ba bi omunya free ekwan amofa so nya free oyebi oyebi ni nyina no it was called skills adoption. What you say, the scalability is unscalable. Usua uhu so wo de wadwene to ho say mesua sika pe mesua sika kura mesua investment mesua enyom mesua bobo wo de wadwene to ho eventually you acquire the skills. But we are wadwene say there be o obi ba mama mesika na me de aye anase me kwakọ bobosia bo kura na opeso obo a bia wo twen se bosia bi bebo ebeba ansa na wo de akobobo na unya skills ne da enti me pese me ka kire wo say for us to feel like a country say intimi nye no ma bi because you need skills no the readiness is not there abeku ade aye hia na ne readiness say wo de yen shot yen free ha step 1 na ye shot yen free step 1 a kwaku will learn Kwesi will learn, we will own. Once we have that acquisition power, automatically people will learn. The skill set and the mindset will change.
The skill set and the mindset will change if the readiness is there. So let's start from here. Nana Kwame Bediako Cheddar. It's been 1 hour 34 minutes. Conversation. It's been very lengthy conversation. But you be beautiful lines and atum sabre said me share a tea for bono. Na Ghana for so a tea. Ya take dear waka. Ne deɛ waka ka ene deɛ woka some bonnet tofa and some bre and waka. You said you want to lead the country, not necessarily be a politician. Na watch kwaya wa membu no ebeye, you don't need the 275 members of parliament, you know. But however obeye abaya wono wani swade hu ne se ode industrial revolution ebe sesa omai na onam industrial revolution so ebe ma yedie wealth aba omai mu wachire mu ekwan a obe dredi ensuo obe tene ensuo mu ye the map of Kumasi and a map of Ghana eto ehwe ensuo a ni tributaries efa Kumasi ye hu eye pra of fame ene black voter ni nyina fa ho enti sade enkroma tumi ekreti eye voter dam no onso ubetumi voter leak no onso ubetumi ayesa na ne kra no mibusa about healthcare delivery and oche se still industrial revolution no na ode be sesa na enti na ugidi se epo ana ensuo ensutade ebetumi aba asantuma mu no uka nema mienu say it is important and it's possible. Importance no me no ya adwene say ampa wohwe say the asantuman ene nema ekoso wohwe college fi Ashanti region ebatema ehu behia say ye benya epone bi ana ensutade asiho na sikaban ena odebeye wachre say nkroma tumi ye ya also through partnership also ubetumi aye yebusa ensemo a aba wo social media so ne da uboka temu efa wo ho wacheche mu nyina wachre de fa tax ho wachre de efa say yes obeto Ghana no wacheche mu nyina. I think say at this point etiefo so betumi abam na question bi a obia wa opeso obusa no ono so ebetumi ebusa 0302243529 0302243547. The leader of the New Force movement, Nana Kwame Bediako Cheddar. Na Nana Kwame Bediako Cheddar openia oda enwuma bebre ano said medika eka no ofa the Kwales group na real estate and developmental company organization aye niema bebre na enum na amanfo edinim no but afei and we yin anim se opese wo ye odi oman anim but onye career politician but or your businessman into the approach no different yentie de etiefo nso e wo bisa hello good evening opening patcho your first and akasa free
patcho from Abichi.
Okay patcho okasa free
Kwabenya.
Okay my question enko.
Yes, me because of transportation, water transportation that he was talking about. If you are traveling on the Accra Expressway, okay, there's a lot of big cars carrying a lot of things to Kumasi, Burkina Faso, and the rest. So I've always been asking myself, say, what about using the Volta River? The Tamaport is even close to Volta. So what about using the Volta River? And then when the things arrive at Tamaport, you connect the Tamaport to the Volta, and then they ship the things straight to the middle belt of the country, and then Kasa, Eko, Burkina Faso, and all those things, so that we can free the Kumasi Accra route, which is in a very bad condition.
So is it a question or contribution?
So this is an example that I'm giving. What he's saying about doing some kind of water transportation is something that we need, and it's not only even linking the south to the north, and then to the landlocked countries like Mali and Burkina and the rest, but if you look at Cape Coast, Sakra, when you are moving from Accra to this station, at the Kapua to Obi, traffic, all that, why don't we use the sea?
All right. That's it. So you agree with him that it's important. We understand that. 0302243529. Hello. Me pacho wane kase na kase free. Okay, nana mwanoko.
And therefore make sure Ghanaians are liberated from all the shackles that you. But I have some two questions I want to ask him. Now, President Visa says, so, nya amemu no opemwa. Always saying, will it be in the first term, that's the 4 years, or 8 term? That's the 8 years. I wanted to find out. And the second one is if probably a co-election when we win, can you be able to wait for 3 terms? That's 12 years. Will you be able to wait to that end? But that time, a lot of people around Ghana, outside Ghana, will be able to know him and know exactly his philosophy and what to do for the real Ghanaians. Thank you.
All right, that's it. Next, 0302243529, 0302243547. Ube questions me and say, ano na yatuaso. Hello.
Hello.
Me pacho, good evening.
Good evening.
Opani pacho, frost say makasa free.
The flame na seki akumia. Me kase sika so.
Yo, pacho mo anu ko yetiu.
Oh, Nana Bediako. Na nuham. Wo se wo nimdie, wo nyansa, nyame ehral. Nanso is the best president Ghana cannot have this time. Na ni suadi ho no. Your constitution ni ayi no ode ba emwa no. Parliament no emwa no. Emwano eno ma wo bi nye ni yodum na won se ni sika wo sika wo mu ebu adwuma na o manfo nye bi nye
na sa wa bi onwuma
wan hwe ya emwano
na sa wa bi onwuma
wa bi adwuma
wa bi enwuma enye wa bi adwuma
but be a won anya pa no emwa
wa dwen kire na wa che no okay pacho
Mr. I would like to answer from the last person what you said. No maybe say ewo maimu ha esese yesesa no wadwene a eda obi hu no enkyere se enu na ye ne hyebre se wo free se obi ko ye bibi na enye ya enye se wo na oba be stop no hwe so na ye ne awo ye se wo ni positive thing bia so be ka kire na me ka nkire me se me ba ko school a emboa enti mama ntu afisi no na mama nse me sika enti misra wa papa kura na wo ka sei misra me nka se du fi asem but ya se wo hwe na se wo ntimi nya na se obi ya menjina kwanim free kwanim na kwanim timimbie ni enko na discouragement I don't agree with it complaints I don't agree with it fear I don't like we know I have taken a decision out of my own courage please let me deal with my consequences.
Second question sir ubeyo mampenia uvishi nyina including dredging the water bodies to create, a lake and I say bibi kese a ebe port ewo Kumasi no. First term and I'll be to me aye and second term. The tosu mienu say when when we need 2024 about we are a debut and I'll be.
But your first one no made me free say change a process. What you say change in your preoccupy. Untimi nka say oba be see heaven no wasi. And as a untimi nka say oba be yen suo kwan na no 1 year 2 years 3 years no wasi. Na mo sha ase a na nkrofo hu the benefits na mo hu the progressor na support aba na nkrofo nso adwen abeta wachi. Na de ba kwa me hu o man mu se obi hye bibia ase na say ye party fufuro ba ese se ojai ni awasha ase on to aso no no so ahye ne dia ase or in nso a no obi fufuro ba. Until we have a lot of uncompleted vision sitting there and it's scattered amongst us. Till me believe we say a better say ebia me nyame aye madoma me oma me mra me di man sui a me hye bibia ase a ese se law bi wo ho a obi ba ese se o continue because yes a man sika na ene e de share project na se nti obi ba ese se wono so to aso.
The first caller agree with your water transportation. 030224.
And there was a second question, eh?
That's the second one. First and second, you know, Omobo
Ogbisa me say, say, man, 4 years yes, now. Now, at the years, look, I don't believe in life as much as I believe in time. Life, dear, I've surrendered my life already. It doesn't belong to us. Anything can happen. Obi our planning for the next 10 years, and so we be at 10 years, Obi also are planning for only next year, and so we're not 20 years. But no any plan for the other 19. But what I really respect is time, and I'm free say mrenaso. And mrenaso say emabunu so betimi anya omone ato ye mind semu ye di kan semu. That's what I'm doing. I'm starting that, and I don't know what is going to happen in the next 8 years or 12 years, but I believe, say, it should be constructive. I believe, say, it should be continued.
My plan, when we need 2024 now, because so be winning.
Oh, it's that mean kind of say, minim baby alive for the make but minim the value of time. And it's our time we anchor 2024 we are mad 2 minutes away.
It's your time.
And yes, I remember because be to send your papa frame say, oh die, until me die. There be me because it's my time. My nyasha see we. Now we back at them saying 2036 no maba. Me na me nyame me timaka say 2036
in the event 2024 presidential election you nya 50% plus 1 for any major political party e be here say be called runoff na about runoff na parties in a strategic alliances NPP and NDC say obi nya 50% plus 1 for the presidential vote na oba new force for strategic alliance partnership. Will you agree?
Oh, so I'm ready. Me share I'm doing who say me will be a partnership will be because me so me share me journey asi obi ama say obeka partnership asem bia timi kwa na me na me kwan so embre so na so obi pese oba na say ne me hia no ntimi nya na me na me kwan so because enye te say obi ene me na ahye bibia ase. What you say? Me youth and ya shase and ya see a pejuma ukruma. Ya pese ya industrialization ukruma. And he say when ya 51.1%.
Na so mo ba.
Na just say you need industrialization ya juma there. And then see a call round na ko say you be do industrialization level no ne atoaso. So what you say?
Because obi ba only ne ben negotiate.
Oh, there be some na opese me answer on and na me answer on say. Who share with me share me journey answer no obi am say am say infa na me ko na me drew destination na obi bi am say me free na eba there be say no ma sha ase no aban na nkasa obi amae party bi amae
e ti yeto aba no
na ye kwan so me ba me dom ene nam ye kwan so
ti yeto aba ni wie na say presidential candidate bi enya 50% plus 1 na say e ba say ye call runoff no mo ba won chen say ye hu say Cheddar youth di wachi pa ye hia o say oni on bekasa na modem vote abeka ye ho a eden ehhehye e na oni on betumi akọ.
Oh, me call back to the youth me hear the public news me call nkrofo mo de me be si ho no me call mo ho no me be so mo say aban no say no so wo kan say no why am nti wo say me nya say na mo de me si ho no ye nya den Into omo ka kire me ni amenya ene na meye because minim say omo no mo di masi ho. What you say, that is the value I have for them. Me amen ka say mabunu ya be di mechi ade maduru ha na obi di makoshe dem na me ni omo negotiate. Oh, this is Judas. Me I will go back to the public. I will go back to the youth. I will go back to the women of this country. And I will take decisions with them because the actual aim of New Force is to make sure that our voice counts.
My last question.
Second time, I'll be the last question.
Last one here. Running mate, ebe your bar na bema.
Oh, preferably ebe your bar. Now, running mate bar, or some who say mask for rubber. Someone who engrofo mudi mechino. Omi na asha mask. It is the unveiling sequential series now is about to happen again. That's when you're going to see the next one coming. You will enjoy this. I brought this not for you to just hate it, but to enjoy. For the first time in Ghana, politics has become an interesting game for both the youth and Brewafo and Kokrafo. Politicians no cry na because now there's fire in it, Abeku. What you say?
So what is your campaign message? Or campaign message near day?
Me pese me catch Ghana for say Freedom Jacob Caesar New Force. We are here for Ghanaians. We came to buy back what has been sold. And we came to create with Ghanaians how we can create jobs for ourselves, create wealth for ourselves. Now you only yanka say yesika. Enya bontin so fo sika bi asese ye kopa achewa omo be ma yesika na ne omo pese ye yansa na omo disika na maye no ye ba se ye ba besesa no enti message amedi jam wo ha ne se me hwehwe mba ne mu na no mahu se on the 7th of May to 27th of May enu penny time abani be bie door no se munko register ansa na ma vote na me ko omo years me hu sa no yen kan kire obi a o na makohwe abrochi for de wo hwe Englander omu bie 1 year before voting edem sa obetimi register ohwe America the same uba Nigeria crown omu se omu ye corrupt crown no omu 90 to 120 days uba Ghana tama yedi ma ya voting no less than 3 weeks
yedi register
register for voting no less than 3 weeks enti me pese me kire a mine se sa 3 weeks na less than 3 weeks omu dia ma ye no but debi I would anyahwe se no anomu dia ma ye enti me se mun ko register Munyam voters registration card because I feel where your vote is your destiny. It would predict your future. It would determine your future for the next 4 years or 8 years of you complaining about economy and jobless and crisis and this and currency. Now you have the first time in your life to have your own destiny in your hands. To use your voice, to use your thumb to choose for your leader so you can see that you're part and you're contributing to the success and the governance of this country. This is the new Ghana, the new nation, the new generation leadership that we are bringing into this premises and this industry of politics. Politics is changing. It's becoming leadership. And you have witnessed what is happening in Burkina Faso. You're witnessing what is happening in Senegal. You're witnessing what is happening in Mali. And no one says, and then you nipa akwan ye pen esisa. Media when you say nyankopon ankasa na esisa no. Or system na Africa for ya bre. Abrofon kwa no mo control yes over 450 years. Ye na namo ay omo wuwu that still omusu. Senti God ni bibi amuwe. Still muti wana mo pa cho say embre musika na say embre mu bibi. But minim se enkura na say omu nyini no. Nyankopon your madum bi asesa o madwini bi amoma ye ready. Now I want even mame for mutie me say. Mo kan kire mo ba no. Mo ma ne say omunko na omunko ji omo shebre. Omunko register. Say abana ye 3 weeks pa. Odi anyahwe. Yem for time now and register na yen shas here and build a new nation and a new country. I want to use this chance by thanking you, Abeku Santana, for just me just hanging with you. Normally we see ourselves at events. And I want to say this. Every time you saw me, you showed me love. And you address me so well. I respect you. I respect your family. I respect your conditions, your regulations, your idea, and your vision. I want God to bless you. God bless, the Despite Group, UTV, all the FM stations. And hello, Ghana. We're here. So this hello moment was a great time. Thank you very much. And thank you, all listeners, Ghanaians. I love you, and thank you, and God bless you.
It's been awesome 1 hour 45 minutes with Freedom Jacob Caesar, Nana Kwame Bediako, also known as Cheddar, the leader of the new force, the man whose vision is to bring industrialization to transform the fortunes of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we end the conversation. Up next,
OKFM 101.7.